Hey guys. Okay, I am doing the hot mess canvas today. I did a poll last week to see if you guys wanted to either see a hot mess canvas or a reverse canvas, and hot mess canvas won. So I am doing that project today for y'all. As usual, I have not flipped my camera, so hang on. Let me do that. Okay, there we go. All right, so I did one for practice, so let me show y'all what that looked like. This was the first one, and it turned out pretty good. It didn't really bleed at all, like none of the letters. Sorry, you know me and being backwards, and it's reflecting off my chandelier in my room. But yeah, it didn't really bleed at all. It did pretty good. So I used Mod Podge for it, and I'll show you how to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna give this one away. So if you comment shared today on the video, then you'll be entered to win this canvas. I will mail it out to you next week. Just know that it has one coat, and I'll explain this later on when I do the next one. It has one coat of the white paint on it. So it's definitely, thank you for sharing, Juanita. It's definitely like a shabby chic look, because you can either do 2 coats of white or 1 coat of white. And 1 coat of white, you're gonna see a little bit of the background colors in there. But for live video purposes, I could not have done 2 coats because it would have taken too long, and I'm already gonna have to run the hairdryer several times. So you guys might wanna get ready to mute your video here in a minute for that. Okay, so I'm gonna angle y'all down so y'all can see. And I am, let's see, I've got this, my canvas is 16 by 20, which is a big canvas, but I had a pack of these and I'm trying to use them up. Probably would have been a lot easier to do a live video using a smaller canvas, but like I said, I didn't want to go out and buy more till I use these up, because I've had them for a while. They sell these at craft stores. They're just the plain canvases. You can get a pack of these. I think I got 5 for like $10. So they're really cheap. If you can use them to make all kinds of different things, and they make nice gifts. A nice inexpensive gift. Okay, so let me get my computer so I can see your comments better. And I hope my phone battery has enough power for this video, because this one's going to be probably a little longer than usual. So what I'm going to start off doing is I've got a few different colors of paint. These are from my local craft store, AC Moore, the Nicole's paint. If y'all want to use, sorry, trying to figure out the backwards thing. If y'all want to use Apple Barrel or whatever, your local Walmart or craft store has. That is so weird for me. I'm sorry, y'all. Maybe one day I'll get used to this, which way to turn things. Okay, so hot pink, light pink, and then like 2 shades of teal. And I'm just putting those on a paper plate. So happy Friday. Does anybody have any fun plans this evening? Did anybody wait until the weekend to go out for Valentine's Day, maybe? Going out to dinner? Be sure, if you share, to comment shared, so you can win the other canvas that I already did. All right, let's see. So I have got a flat tip brush. Hey Jean. And very loved, got paint all over it. So I'm just gonna this canvas I'm gonna do, what is it called? Landscape. I'm gonna do it this way instead of the other way, and you'll see why, because the vinyl that I'm using on it is a different saying this time. And this is the fun part, because you can just slap paint on here however you want. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Just be sure you're not caking it on. you don't want to have clumps of paint when you put your vinyl down, because then it won't stick as well and you'll get the, you know, the paint leaking up underneath it, and it'll, you know, it'll bleed. So make sure you're going nice and smooth with your paint. You can use whatever colors you want. It doesn't really matter if you do, these are, you know, kind of square shapes or whatever. You can do circles, whatever you want to do, because it's not really gonna, that part of it's not going to show. You're not going to see the shape of what you're painting. You're just going to see the colors popping through. And I tried not to get too much paint on the sides of my canvas. Just because I didn't want to have to go back with my white paint later and have to touch too much of that up. And I'm not even rinsing my brush in between switching colors. I'm just going ahead and kind of filling in wherever I think I want my next color to be. Thanks for sharing, Jean. You can win the other canvas. I just showed it a minute ago. I'll show it again at the end. My practice one that I did. So this is only the second one of these that I've ever done, and I didn't want to just go live and do it and not have, you know, not having done one at least before, because I was afraid that something would go wrong. Paint, or not paint, vinyl can be tricky to stick to canvas. Because canvas isn't a smooth surface, you know, it's got ridges. So I was like, ooh, how's that going to work? Because I've tried to do it before without the canvas being painted. And the paint really does help, because the paint makes the canvas more smooth and the vinyl sticks to it a little bit better. It's still a little tricky, but it's not like, not as hard to do it that way. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and rinse my brush because I'm switching over to pink. Making sure it's nice and dry. I don't want to get my canvas real wet and have it take too long to dry since this is live. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and do the darker color first. I love this color. It's just like a really bright fuchsia. And I was going to switch, because I used these colors for the other one. I was going to switch and do a different color combo, but I really like this one, and I already had paint on my paper plate, so I figured I would use it up and not waste paint. And again, just making sure I don't have like big clumps. I thought maybe a pretty color combo would be like maybe a lilac color with some lime green and a little bit of pink mixed in. I thought that would be really cute for doing like an Easter hot mess canvas. So maybe like a bunny or an Easter basket or something cute on there. I haven't started any Easter projects yet. I know some people are already moving on from Valentine's Day and starting with Easter and spring. Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and do some light pink, and I'm not even going to rinse my brush this time. And I don't want to blend this light pink in over the colors too much because it is a light color and I don't want anything to turn brown. So mix too many colors together and I'm going to end up with a brown hue on my canvas. But isn't that neat the way the colors just sort of start to meld together? This is really a pretty relaxing project to do. It is pretty when the colors mix together a little bit, so as long as it's not turning brown, I'm good with it. So if you're just coming in, say hey and tell me where you're from. Let me know you're watching. We have a pretty sunny afternoon here in Virginia. It's not too cold today. I finished getting this paint on here, and then I'm going to dry it because it's got to be nice and dry before we can put the vinyl on. So if you have any other projects that you guys want to see, anything using your, cutting machine, your Cricut, Silhouette, or if you have a scan and cut, or maybe even a commercial vinyl cutter, anything that you want to see, just, feel free to shoot me a message or in the comments for this video. Let me know what it is, because I love suggestions and requests. I do think I'm going to probably do a reverse canvas sometime soon, because I did one of those and it turned out really good and it was super easy. I could not believe that I had not done it before, because I mean, it was like the easiest thing and such a nice gift for somebody that really looks high end. Just trying to fill in. I keep seeing like a little bit of white here and there, so I'm just trying to fill that in. Make sure we're all coated here. All right, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so y'all can see that. Hey Joy, how are you? Hey Tony. All right, so we've got all our colors on there, and I'm gonna go ahead, y'all might wanna mute it because I'm gonna go ahead and dry it with the hair dryer, and I gotta make sure it's nice and dry before I can move on, so bear with me. Joy, you're so sweet. Sorry about the noise. This is just, something I saw on Pinterest, so I had to try it. Edges kind of stay a little wet, but I'm not too worried about them. All right, let me see. Hopefully that is dry enough. Let me do just a little teeny bit more. Welcome, welcome. Sorry about the noise. Should be done here in a sec. All right, y'all. Hopefully that is dry. Okay, so we are going to, I've still got paint on me from the last one I did. All right, so I've got my vinyl, and I had to cut it out in 2 sheets. I've already got it weeded, and I've already got the transfer tape on it. And I cut it out in 2 sheets because I couldn't fit it all on my mat at the same time. So I'm just gonna kind of see where I want that before I put it on. All right. So I'm gonna put my stapler right there so I know where to start. So about 1 inch down from the top. Okay. Go ahead and peel this off. And I just used white Oracle 651 because I have stencil vinyl. I have the Aura Mask, but I figured that this would be stickier. And I want sticky because I need it to stick to the canvas. And I was worried that the stencil vinyl would not be sticky enough. All right, now let me try to get this on straight because I'm not standing over it because of the way I've got the camera set up. Let's see. Is that straight? It's hard to tell from my angle. Hopefully that is straight enough. So this says follow that dream, and then I've got a dream catcher. You love dream catchers? Yeah, they're so pretty. Okay, so what I did last time is I flipped this over because I can't push down on the front of the canvas, but I can push down on the back of it. So I'm going to take my little scraper tool and I'm just going to scrape really good on the back to make sure that the vinyl is stuck to the front. Hopefully that paint's dry and it's not going to rub off. But at least if it does, it's a hot mess, so it's not like a little bit of mess up, a little bit of smudging on the front is going to hurt anything. Okay, so this is probably the hardest part of the project. So see, I've got the vinyl on there, and then I've got, it's still got the transfer tape over it. And the hardest part is peeling this off. And it may just come right off, but I had a little trouble last time with, see how some of it wants to come off with the transfer tape. So this kind of takes the most patience. But the paint's not coming off so far, so that is good. And you can save this transfer tape and reuse it if you want to, because it's still plenty sticky to be able to use on another project. Although I end up forgetting I've saved it and then I get another piece out. So I have pieces of transfer tape stuck all over my craft table and all over my craft room. All right, got that piece off. And I'm going to scrape it down on the back again here in just a sec. Make sure that it's on there real good before I do the next step. And just as I go, I'm just kind of pressing down a little bit to make sure that there aren't any bubbles and it's not stretching my vinyl. And the reason why this is shaped like this is because I didn't want to waste my white vinyl. So I cut this piece off down here because the dream wouldn't fit on my mat, so I had to cut it separately. Because my mats, I use all 12 by 24 mats, but this was even bigger than that with everything that I was putting on this giant canvas. Now I will confess to y'all, I like this better than I do the end result. I would put it up just like this. I just think it's pretty with the colored background and the white vinyl on it. Or even like a different color, like maybe like a light pink vinyl would be pretty, or a lilac on here, or like, a really pale teal. I really like that. You might, if you're going to do that, you might put a coat of Mod Podge on it and, like on the whole thing, and let that dry if you're going to hang it up or gift it to somebody. But I think this is so pretty. with the colors in the background. But that's not reverse, or that's not hot mess canvas. So hot mess canvas is what everybody wanted to see. So that is what I'm going to do. I was worried that it would actually turn out a hot mess if I did it live the first time and I didn't, you know, practice. So, but the first one, I mean, I didn't have any problems. It went well. Okay. So now, make sure there's no bubbles. And like I said, isn't that pretty just how it is? I just love that. I would hang that up just like that. Maybe, like I said, put a clear coat over top of it. But we're going to finish our hot mess canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scraper again, and I'm going to go over the back of it. Just make sure it's stuck on there really good so no paint gets underneath. I need a bigger scraper. I've only ever used these little bitty scrapers, but I've seen other people with the big wide ones. I need to go get one of those. Alrighty. So, what I decided to do with mine was, I've got paint on me, was to put a coat of Mod Podge on before, just around the letters and the image before I started on with my white paint. Because I feel like that seals the edges of the letters better, and then you don't get as much of the bleeding underneath, or none of the bleeding underneath. I didn't really see any when I did it last time, so hopefully that'll be the case this time. I'm just putting a little bit in the lid. I don't want to cake anything on. I don't want to cake on the Mod Podge or the white paint. So I'm just going to kind of, before I get near the edge, I'm just going to kind of dab it so I'm not, you know, caking it on. And I'm just going to go over the image and the letters with my Mod Podge, just a fairly thin coat, just to seal these edges. And this is matte Mod Podge, I think, right? Yeah, matte Mod Podge that I'm using. And I'm just using a, whatever, what do you call it? Just a sponge. Oh, what is the name of it? You know, just a sponge tip thing. I don't know what it's called, y'all. What does it say on the thing? Foam brush. It is a foam brush. There we go. I get on these videos and my brain does not work anymore and I can't think of the words that I need to say. So I'm just dabbing. Just going all around this dream catcher. Did y'all have a nice Valentine's Day? We didn't do anything, but we're gonna go to dinner this weekend. I'm not sure where. Just making sure I get around all these letters real good. And if you're watching in the replay, type replay. And as always, if my little bot thing is working right, if you type supplies, you should get a message with a link to my supply list on my website. Now, if that doesn't work, just feel free to message me. You will get an automatic response, but if you have a question, I'll message you back and let you know. But not all the supplies, like the canvas and the foam brushes and stuff, they're not on my website. But like vinyl, the vinyl that I use, the transfer tape, what else? There's all kinds of stuff on there. I've got links to different supplies. I think there's a link to like a silhouette machine and some of the stencil vinyl, things like that. And then once I get this all on, I'll probably need to dry it a little bit again. Now, I've seen people say, you know, they do their paint and then they let it dry like overnight or 5 or 6 hours or something like that. And that, you know, that's a great idea if you have the time for that. But obviously doing it on a live video, I had to hope that it would work and not have to, you know, divide it up into a couple of different videos. And the practice one that I did, it was fine as long as I just dried it real good with the hair dryer. Do I have any canvas art people out there? Has anybody ever done one of these before? If you have, post a picture in the comments and let me see what you've done. Or if you end up, because you watch this, if you end up doing one, please post a pic. I would love to see it. I'm also on Instagram. The link is on my website, lulubeandesigns.com. And you can post it on Instagram and tag me. I would love to see what you do. I am not the person who came up with this idea, obviously, but I thought it was such a neat thing. Just something different to do with your vinyl. So I think we've got it pretty good around these letters, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the dryer. So you might want to mute it again. Thank you, Alicia. All right, so bear with me, guys. Got to make sure it's nice and dry. This Mod Podge dries pretty fast. That's good. And so you guys, if you decide to leave it like this, which I mean, like I said, I love it like this. I really like this better than the hot mess. But if you decide to do this and you do want to put Mod Podge over top of your vinyl, my suggestion is don't dab like I did with the foam brush, okay? Do a nice smooth coat of it and do it over the whole thing. Because if I was going to leave it like this, you can see the texture of it when the light hits it of where I just sponged it on, and you don't want that. You want a nice smooth finish, and you might even want to use glossy Mod Podge to give it a nice pretty glossy finish. So, okay, but we're doing hot mess, so we're going to go ahead and do the white on top and then peel off the vinyl. So I've got some white chalk paint. You can use whatever white chalk paint you want, and I've even seen some people who did black chalk paint. And the reason why we do chalk paint is because it dries faster. So I think you can use regular acrylic paint if you want, but the chalk paint dries a whole lot quicker. And it's a thicker paint. I've seen some really cool hot mess canvases with black paint instead of white. So that's another idea. If you look on Pinterest, you'll see some of those. Okay, so same thing with this. I'm going to start, the whole canvas is going to get this white on it. But I'm going to start over the image and the letters because I want to, you know, get those done first and make sure that they have a longer drying time than the rest of the canvas, just to make sure they're dry before I pull the vinyl back up. And if you're just joining me, you're probably like, what is she doing? Why is she ruining that piece of artwork? But this is called a hot mess canvas. Guys, if you haven't heard of it, it is where the image is going to show through with all the pretty colors when I'm done. And I don't know how long this idea has been out. I just heard of it a couple months ago, like before the holidays. I did not know what it was, but it's been really fun. All right, so this is kind of boring to watch because it's just me dabbing white paint all over this canvas. And I don't want to paint it on, I want to dab it because, again, I don't want it getting up underneath the vinyl and ruining it. And if I dab it over the image and the letters, I'm going to have to dab it over the whole thing because I can't dab it here and then try to smooth brush it on, hey Tiffany, over the rest of it, because then it's not going to have an even texture. You're going to end up, you know, you're going to want to have the whole thing look textured so it doesn't look weird. I'm going to need to get some more chalk paint soon. But I've had this one forever. And you can get, they have Waverly chalk paint at Walmart. You can pick it up there. I don't even know where I got this one. I've had it for so long. Maybe AC Moore back when, I don't know if y'all have AC Moore where you are, but ours, it used to be called Ben Franklin. But they switched over a few years ago. When I was doing the first one, I was too impatient to finish my white paint before I started peeling up one of the words because I wanted to see if it worked before I finished and went to all the effort of getting all this white paint over the whole thing. And I pulled up one word and it looked great. It didn't have any bleeding underneath it at all. So I was like, oh, awesome. I'll just finish the whole thing then. And if y'all can think of any color combinations that you think might be pretty with this, or phrases or images, or just any ideas you have for this, please comment and let me know. And just, you know, feel free to chat while I'm doing this because it's kind of boring to watch. So if you have any ideas, let me know, or questions. I do suggest, if you're going to do it, to pick fonts and images that are not too intricate, don't have like teeny tiny little cuts in them, because you're just going to end up frustrated if you do that. It's going to be a lot harder to get your vinyl to stick to your canvas, and then you're going to have a lot more little teeny tiny pieces to have to pick up at the end. So everybody who's watching, do you guys have, oh, red and green at Christmas would be so pretty? It would be pretty. I saw one on YouTube where a girl had done a Christmas tree with different shades of green, and it was really pretty. Yeah, Valentine's Day, if I had gotten it done before that, different shades of red and pink, and maybe even some light gray. I thought that would have been pretty with like a heart or Cupid or something like that. But I did not get that done before Valentine's Day. So this is the most tedious part, obviously, because you do have to dab it on, and it takes a lot longer to do it that way. And you think you're getting close to done, and then you remember, oh, wait, I have to do the whole thing. I have to, this is not your Mod Podge layer. You have to go back over the whole thing and make it white again. But when you pull it up at the end, it's really cool. It's like Christmas morning, seeing your letters pop with the colors. This would be a good video to do in like the fast, whatever you call it, the fast motion, the sped up recording. So you're probably lucky if you're in the replay and you can just fast forward to the good part. All right, guys, we're getting there. Let me go ahead while this is still wet and fill this in, so we don't have weird wet areas and dry areas next to each other. And a stencil brush would probably be good for this too. It might work better than the sponge tip. And the ones that I've seen that have the black chalk paint, they're very cool because they look kind of like, if you guys ever did those little art books when you were little, where it's like some sort of black waxy covering, and you take a wooden stick, like an, I guess they call it an orange stick, you know, like the sticks you use if you do nails, and you scrape the black off, and then you've got the rainbow colors underneath. That's what it reminds me of. Oh, my arm's getting tired. Shades of pink and navy. Oh, that would be really pretty. A chip brush. I don't know if a brush would be good for this part. You could probably use a chip brush to put the paint on, Jean, but I don't know. I've heard people say that using a brush for this part, you end up getting paint underneath the vinyl, which I hope I'm not doing that right now, because I'm putting this on faster than I did when I did it the first time, because, you know, you guys are sitting here watching me, and I feel like this has got to be like very tedious to watch. So I'm going a little bit faster, and I'm hoping that I'm not globbing it on, and I'm not going to have a true hot mess at the end of this, and y'all are going to be like, ooh, that looks terrible. But if it does, I'll just get my other one out that I did and show y'all again. Like, if you have patience and you take your time, then this is what it will look like when done properly. And I'm kind of OCD, like, you know, I was saying at the beginning of this that some people like to do 2 coats of the white, because that way you don't see any colors through the white part. I would probably like that better, but I'm not going to do that on a live video, obviously, because this is already taking forever. All right, so at least we've got that covered, and we can kind of move on and get the rest of this done. Red, green, and lime green. Yeah, that would be pretty. I love different shades of the same color together. Like a lilac and a lavender, and like a lime green and a little bit darker green would be pretty. And then just make sure, like on the edges here, I'm making sure that I'm getting, you know, kind of over the edge and covering up my paint. that seep down on the sides, just to make it look, you know, neat and clean. All right, now on this part, since I don't have any letters or image over here, I'm going to go ahead and just do this, and then I'm going to go back and dab it, because I feel like that would be quicker, but we'll still have the texture where we need the texture to be. So it's not like, you know, smooth spots and textured spots, because that would look weird. But it'll be a little quicker that way. Getting my edges. Maybe one of those sponge daubers would work for this too, like the round ones that we use. I use them for polka dots on door hangers. That would probably work pretty well for this part. Making sure it's part of my dream catcher right there, so I don't want to smooth paint it too close. I think by the time I get done with one side, maybe the other side will almost be dry. Jean says, I haven't used vinyl, so I don't know, just acrylic and canvas. Yeah, I've been working with vinyl for a while. And I've got a big roll of the white vinyl, so I figured I would use that for this. I know y'all probably can't see. I'm trying to make the texture even, and you guys probably can't see the texture on the screen, but I can definitely see. So I just don't want it to be uneven. I kind of actually like, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the little kind of dots in it that the brush makes when I hit it, as I dab it, it makes like little dash marks, and it kind of looks neat that way. Or at least I think it will when I take the vinyl off. As long as it's all over the canvas and not just parts of it. Let's see. All right, let's smooth this on over here. Can y'all hear my dog clicking around in the kitchen? That's my lab, Mabel. She's doing circles. Now she heard her name, so she's coming in here. Oops, got paint on there. Hey, girl. She's coming around here. She's walking behind me. Okay, now I just have to dab it so the texture's even. We don't have a weird look over here. Whew, it felt like it took a lot longer than the first time. Probably because I was on camera this time, but I feel like y'all are like, good Lord, lady, hurry up and finish this. Okay, I think that is pretty good. Definitely can see some of the colors peeking through, but that's sort of the look that people say they like to achieve with this, is being able to see some of those colors. Kind of a shabby look. Doing a little bit more in the middle of that dream catcher there. Okay, so now I'm going to have to dry it again, and this actually is probably going to be a little longer drying time. So bear with me, y'all, and let me do that. I got paint all over me. Luckily, this chalk paint dries pretty quick. Anticipation, I know, right? You like some of the color coming through? Me too. I mean, I do. I'll have to see about this one. I think it depends on the design. That's probably still a little bit damp, but I think it's dry enough to go ahead and maybe pull our vinyl off. Okay, are y'all ready for Christmas morning? All right, hopefully this worked. Oh, yeah, looking good so far. I've got it turned around so it's facing you guys. And I'm just taking my little weeding tool and getting under the edge. I've seen some people like to use tweezers for this part. So whatever you think would work best. And it's not, I don't see any bleeding underneath there, so that is good. So I think the Mod Podge trick really does work. How cool is that? Oh, we got a little bit right there. But you know what? I can touch that up. I'll get a paintbrush here in a second, and I'll touch that up with some white chalk paint. Let me get, because I can't stand that. Y'all know I got to get a brush. Hang on. I'm going to touch that up. Let me see if I can find a little angled brush. And my little thing of brushes over here. Alright, so I'm just gonna, let me turn this. I probably should just wait till the end to do this because it's probably going to be more than one spot, but it's going to bug me. put a little bit of white paint on a plate so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'll probably go back with another dab of white paint there in just a second. But y'all probably can't see that. All right, let me see. I think this dream catcher is all one piece. I'm not positive, so I'm a little nervous about that. We've got a couple spots, not too bad. I'm just sort of rocking it as I peel. And just peeling slowly. How cool is that, you guys? Look at that. You love it? Thank you, Joy. Isn't that pretty? I really like that. You probably can't even see it. I can just see like a little tiny spots on the dream catcher. Like there's like one little spot right there, and not, you really don't notice it that much though. I'm just trying to be careful not to poke a hole in my canvas with this little tool. I probably have a better tool than this to use, but for some reason, this is my little go-to thing. Obviously, it looks horrible. I've got much nicer tools that I could grab, but this thing, it's my vinyl weeder. It's what I use. I could weed in the dark with it, I think. All right, let's see this last word. Try to find a good spot to start. Ooh, look at that. So pretty. I love these colors. It's going pretty good, guys. This word is probably the best one. All right, there we go. Only you would notice, you don't see it. Yeah, I see that all the time when I'm watching other people do crafts on videos. I'm like, I can't see it. All right, can y'all see that? I'll try to hold it up close so you can see. But you definitely can see the colors behind it a little bit. But, I mean, that's just kind of the look of it. But I think that is so pretty. That turned out really good. My daughter might want to actually hang that one in her room, or one like this in her room. So if you guys want to win, so I'll let you decide which one. So whoever wins, I'll message you, and I'll let you pick if you want this, the follow that dream, or if you want if you need me, I'll be crafting. Thank you, Andrea, or Andrea, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which one. If you need me, I'll be crafting. So you get to pick. If you're the winner, you get to pick which one you want. They're 16 by 20. Thanks, Jean. So please, to enter, just share my video and type shared in the comments, and I'll let that run for a few days, and like on Sunday, I'll go back through and I'll just do the randomized thing to pick somebody, and I'll message you if you are the winner, and you can tell me which one you want. Okay, thank you guys so much for hanging with me. That was a really long video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it inspired you to do your own hot mess project. And just let me know if you do. Please share a picture. I would love to see it. And I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for sharing, Alicia. You love the way it turned out. Me too. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend. Bye.